Hey guys, I just want to make this video really quick because there's a new set of PBE changes for Singed. Spoiler alert, I like them. I think they're, once again, a good step in the right direction. I don't quite like them as much as the very first set of changes where they were playing around with doing fun stuff to Singed's ultimate and giving him an AP ratio on his E, but I do like them much more than the changes I talked about in my last video, which were just stupid stat buffs. So the idea of this change set, I think, is they want to push him towards that AP Bruiser playstyle, and they want to make him build Rylais and Liandrys again. I'll talk about why I think that in a second. So going from top to bottom, Singed base health increase from 542.76 to 610, health growth increased from 82 to 90, just giving him more HP throughout the game because they got rid of his old passive and they're giving him a new passive. It's called Slipstream. Singed will draft off of nearby champions, gaining 25% movement speed for 2 seconds. Keep in mind this doesn't say enemy champions, it just says champions, so you can gain 25% movement speed for 2 seconds off of your own teammates. There's some police sirens, I don't know if you guys heard that, but they're coming for me. So yeah, this is cool. They want us to not have to build Righteous Glory anymore to be able to actually function. I completely support that. I fucking hate building Righteous Glory. Keep in mind that it seems like 25% won't be enough to kind of get to the enemy backline and fling an 80 carry or something like that, but you have to keep in mind that you can proc this off of whoever's in front of the enemy team too, and kind of start ramping up some movement speed while you're running to the back, and see if you can fling. And if you can't fling the the back line, that's probably okay too, because you're gonna have more damage from your increased AP ratio from Poison Trail in the AP like Bruiser direction that they're kind of wanting to push Singed to, which I support. Interesting thing about this Slipstream passive is that it stacks, so you can gain up to 125% movement speed for 2 seconds if everyone is clumped up. Obviously, this is an absolute best case scenario. He has Ghost running and he has the thing, level 1, no item, 623 movement speed. There's no way this would happen in an actual game, but it just kind of gives you an idea of, oh, if you run through 2 or 3 people and they're close to each other, you're going to go pretty fast for a little bit, and that's very rewarding for Singed. I think that's really good. Another thing is, I think the range on it is, yeah, so the range is basically about the range of Singed's auto attack, and I think that that's fine. I think that that's fair. It's not like crazy because, like I said, you can kind of imagine like the enemy team as like, imagine you're walking into a team fight against the enemy team in like just mid lane, 5v5. Yeah, enemy has bruisers in front, fucking, AP support in the back, jungler's off doing wherever the fuck he wants to do. If you start getting your movement speed off of the enemy like jungler and the enemy like top laner, assuming that they're both melee, they don't have to be, but you can start getting movement speed against them, maybe even the enemy support. If the enemy support's melee, you can start getting movement speed off of them and start working your way towards the back and see if you can fling one of the 3 or one of the 2 most important targets, the enemy AD carry or the enemy mid laner, which are the 2 biggest damage dealers. And if you can fling them with your increased damage from your Q, and the fact that you're not having to build Righteous Glory and you'll have damage items, it's more likely that you'll be rewarded for getting that fling off, as opposed to before, where you'd pop RG and Ghost, maybe get a fling, and then do no damage and get shit on and die. So, yeah, seems a bit more rewarding than just a stupid 25%, mana equals HP. I like it. Like I said, further adding to the reason that I believe that they're wanting to push Singed into a Rylais and Liandry's direction is because of Poison Trail. This is the same change we've seen before. AP ratio increased by 0.1, 10%. Damage, base damage decreased by 10 at level 5. Whatever. That's fine. I like it. They want us to build damage. I'm cool with it. Mega Adhesive W. Let's talk about this. This is a pretty huge change too. Mana cost lowered by 10 at all ranks. I gotta mute my mic so I can sneeze 1 second. Wow. Okay, I'm back. Mana cost lowered by 10 at all ranks. Cooldown changed from 14 at all ranks to 17 at level 1 and 13 at level 5. Basically, at level 5, you have 1 less. This doesn't matter that much. You're not going to be using Mega Adhesive that much early anyways. You maybe use it once or twice during your laning phase. Against... actually... No, yeah, this doesn't, the cooldown thing doesn't change that much at all. The slow, this is kind of big. The slow has changed from 35 level 1, 75 level 5 to 40% at all ranks. So the slow is weaker, but they're giving it grounding. Basically what grounding is, if you don't know, I'm sure you probably know. If someone is affected by grounding, then they can't dash and they can't blink. Actually, I was gonna make this point here in a second. They can't dash, they can't blink. It interrupts abilities. I didn't know that it interrupts Shen ult, actually. That's kind of cool. But yeah, it does a lot of cool stuff. They can be resisted by spell shields, and Olaf ult and Malzahar passive, stuff like that. So that's cool. The only thing that I'm kind of apprehensive about is that they're taking away this much of a slow, while Cassiopeia at level 5 of her Miasma, her grounding ability has an 80% slow. I don't know why she has that, but she has as much slow on her level 1 as on her level 1 grounding as Singed has on his level 5 grounding. And her AoE on this ability is fucking huge. Here, watch this. Let's see if I can watch this shit right here. Look at that. She can cover a whole fucking lane, right? Singed can barely cover like that much right there. He can barely cover like 45, 40% of it. But, like, that's like comparing apples to oranges, I guess, because Cassiopeia is hyper carry and Singed is meant to, or this change is pushing Singed towards more of an AP bruiser like he used to be, and I'm cool with that. I am worried, though, that this doesn't really solve the problem of Singed, going into a team fight and getting blown up. He has that problem as, the full tank, stupid utility support bullshit Singed, and he has that problem even with these changes, but it does. I think these changes will do their job of rewarding Singed for building more damage, and I think that's a good start. I think this is a really good start. And if these changes go to live, I'm sure that they'd be more than happy to tinker around with stuff a bit and see like what the good balance is. Though, like if Singed manages to get a Fling in a team fight, what's stopping him from getting blown up instantly? Generally, with Rylais and Liandry's, if you were to do that build before, then you would have tank items after those two items to kind of back up your damage and give you a little bit of durability. And I think that's probably what we'll end up doing now. Again, Rylais, Liandry's, Thornmail, Warmog's, Randuin's, Spirit Visage, not Spirit Visage. What's that? Adaptive Helm, maybe. Abyssal Mask. That's the one. Abyssal Mask is going to have the ROA Catalyst passive now, so that will be cool. What's another? I think that the Fling mana cost reduction, it's because you're losing 20 at level 1, right? It's a buff of 20 mana at level 1. He needs it, but I don't know if it's enough. I think the 70 was really good, but like this is a good start. Again, I'm really sad that the Fling doesn't have the whatchamacallit. I'm really sad that the Fling doesn't have the extra AP ratio on it. It might have been broken, but I think that it was something cool that they could have played around with more. The 1% extra damage equals 50 AP or whatever, 50 AP equals 1% extra damage. I think that was really cool. I'm kind of sad that they're not doing it here, but I can see why they wouldn't, just because it seems like this will overall make Singed a bit more effective, which I like. Insanity Potion, mana cost lowered from 150 to 100. Stat bonus changed from 35, 50, 80 to 35, 60, 85. Little bit better late game, mostly better mid game. Not even by that much. Like, honestly, this right here, this doesn't even matter. That's not going to do anything. The biggest change is the stat bonus doesn't really matter at all. The biggest change is mana cost lowered from 150 to 100. Just more in line with giving him a new passive that doesn't revolve around mana. Again, the biggest thing that I like is they're pushing this towards a more AP bruiser, Rylais Liandry's direction, which is actually my favorite style of Singed. Very, very close with ROA and Seraphs that I loved playing back in the day, but Rylais and Liandry's is what I got the Challenger with whenever I, got to rank 79 way back in the day. And I think that, playing that again, because that's what this change set is aiming to do, I think, will be really fun. Overall, I like it. I still have concerns about, Singed being blown up in a team fight really quickly. Just because, you know, they took health away from Rylais, and there's not a lot of health in the Rylais Liandry's combo. We'll probably have to have Warmogs in our builds now, no matter what, which is okay. Just because Singed will need the HP, so we'll probably need a Warmogs no matter what every game. I am cautiously optimistic. I wish that they had the extra AP ratio on his Fling, but I can see why they didn't want to do it. And I think that if these changes were to go live, especially with the new passive and grounding on W, it would be good. Just a few more notes about the grounding on W. I think that the loss of slow is not that big of a deal, really, because like late game before, like on live servers, the 75% still late game doesn't really even do that much at all. Like, it doesn't do shit. Because, you know, everyone has fucking dashes and mobility and cancer and cancer and cancer. But with this, at least you can kind of stop that. And, you know, it makes for more clutch plays. I like that. The grounding makes for more clutch plays, and it gives Singed out a little bit of outplay potential, which is something that I've been wanting them to give him for a really long time. And I think that's good. You know, giving him grounding and taking away power from the slow, I think that's good. It'll make him... You have to be careful with Singed now, and I like that. He's needed that for a long time. You can still Goofling, the duration's lowered, obviously, but I think it's fair. This might need to go to 4 seconds instead of 3, but I think it's fair. So overall, yeah, I like the direction. I like the new passive. I think it's great. I like the Q change. I think the W change is like a 7 out of 10. I think the Fling change is whatever. I'm disappointed in the Fling change, but it's okay. And the alt change that's whatever. The biggest changes are in Poison Trail, passive, and W. So yeah, I would honestly be pretty satisfied with this if it goes live. Maybe they'll tweak it a bit, but this is definitely a good push in the right direction for Singed. I think definitely a really good push for him. And it gives him a lot of stuff that he's needed for a while just to keep up in the meta. Like you would think that this type of like especially the grounding, you would think that that's really cancerous and overpowered. But like, think about all of the stuff that's in the game now. The new champion can literally walk through walls. He can literally just walk through them. And I'm pretty sure he gets healed when he does it. So I mean, like, good lord, you know, it's ridiculous the stuff that these new champions can do in terms of their mobility. Singed absolutely needed this, and I'm happy with it. Hopefully they'll give us back the extra AP ratio on Fling, and hopefully they'll play around with giving us some more fun stuff on the ultimate, but I can see why they wouldn't, so we'll see what happens. Thanks, guys.